You good? Okay, I have a big mouth, so it should work. All right, so my name is Barbara Herriott, and I'm here to represent the East Fairfield Coal Company, and I was asked to do the history of the East Fairfield Coal Company in Springfield Township. So I started to work at East Fairfield in 1978. I was really young when I started. So, and then I retired a year and a half ago, but prior to that I was doing some history stuff. Tom had asked me to put some history stuff together. Then that turned into me putting this presentation together for you for the Springfield Township. So what I want to show is this is Springfield Township, and this is the mining that has been done in Springfield Township over the years. The red are past mines of East Fairfield Coal. The yellow are the current mines of the East Fairfield Stone Company. The gray, the hash marked ones, not Evans Lake, but the rest of them are other mines that were in Springfield Township. So you can tell mining had a very large presence in Springfield Township, as well as East Fairfield had a very large presence. We do have a larger copy of this, so if anybody wants to come up and look at this afterwards, you're more than welcome to do so. So, where we began, and why are we called the East Fairfield Coal Company? The East Fairfield Coal Company started in June of 1934 in a small community of East Fairfield in Columbiana County. We mined property of Gaskell and the Chamberlain Farms. It's said that East Fairfield was one of the first and largest successful strip mine operations. In 1938, we moved to the area of Woodworth. That's from like between North Lima and Boardman. So that area right there, we moved to that area in 1938. In 1941, we moved our operations to North Lima. This is an aerial of North Lima. Then obviously this is an older aerial. You'll notice there is no turnpike, no 680. Okay, so this is our old office, the tipple. This was our garage at the time. This is now part of the roundabout. If you go up through North Lima now, that would go right through our old office. So in 1947, the company is sold, and the primary owners are Calvin Minnick, which somebody brought up, the Minnick family to me. So Graydon Thompson, Raymond Makel, Albert Harding, and L.D. Russell. This is the agreement that is made when, 1949, when Mr. Makel, Mr. Minnick, and Mr. Thompson buy Mr. Russell's interest in the company. They become the owners of the East Fairfield Coal Company. So the North Lima tipple, and I bring this up because everybody knew the tipple. This was a big landmark that a lot of people came and got their coal there. So this was for years a huge landmark in North Lima. So the North Lima tipple was originally built in 1947, and as you can see right there, it is constructed out of railroad cars. And the metal from a Cyrus Erie steam shovel. This is a shovel that was used to mine coal in the 1920s and the 1930s. This would be Hap Hoffman, his wife Audrey, and James Hoffman. They're on the structure for the ramp, I believe. Recognize those people?
That is correct.
That is right, okay. All right, so this is another this is Mr. Hoffman. That would have been his family up there. So in the 1980s, the railroad cars were removed, the bins were built in their place, the tipple had 1,000-ton capacity with screening into different sizes of coal. So this would be a picture, the trucks would drive up the ramp and dump into that hopper. Then the coal would be screened into different sizes. So you would have lump, you would have egg size, you'd have nut. Stoker was a smaller size. So there were different uses for different sizes. This would be a, looking on, I think about halfway down. Ed, am I halfway down the ramp? Okay, so drivers would be, we had drivers who really didn't want to drive up there. So, I mean, I guess Mr. Wilson, you could ask him later what that felt like to be able to drive up that ramp. Yeah, you back up.
Back.
All right, so this is our tipple. In its nearly 50 years, it supplied quality coal for homes, schools, greenhouses, utilities, steel mills, and other commercial and industrial users. Coal was screened, like I said, into the various different sizes. This is a coal ticket from 1952, and coal at that point sold for $5 a ton. This was one of our domestic customers. We had people give him pickup trucks, all different arrangements. This gentleman had a little cart he pulled behind his car and took coal home. Our domestic business declined along with the changes of our mining procedures and how we process the coal. So in 1997, the tipple came down. This is Raymond Maple. He started working for the East Fairfield Coal Company in 1936 as a bookkeeper. He became, in 1947, he became a part owner. In 1971, he became the owner and president of the company. His two main goals were to produce a quality product and to take care of his customers in every way possible. And I can tell you, I personally experienced that on a Saturday when you thought nobody else was going to come, we were not allowed to put that cable up, because if one customer was going to come, Mr. Maple was going to make sure they were taken care of. And sure enough, at the end of the day on a Saturday, somebody would roll in and make him true, but he definitely wanted to make sure he took care of his customers. This is a picture of Mr. Maple loading a truck. This would have been, so the previous slide, I had the coal ticket that was sold to Chuck Heindel. So Chuck Francis, he bought Mr. Heindel's truck and continued to haul coal to people's homes. Now, Mr. Maple, you could always see him down at the tipple. That was his baby. And so whenever they were working, like when we built our new office, the windows faced the tipple, so if there's anything going on down there, he would run back the hall, put his coat on, and out the door he'd go, and he would be down at the tipple, and he was definitely not a person who just stood and watched. He got his hands dirty when he dove right in and helped. So when he becomes the owner in the early 70s, then his family members start to join him to run the East Fairfield Coal Company. 1971 is his son Tom. In 1973 is his brother Gib. 1974, his sons Lee, Lloyd, and his brother Don. These are the current members of the Maple family that still continue to run this family business, also known as the East Fairfield Stone Company. So you have Tom, his wife Denise, and their son Jeremy. So I'd like to kind of move on to equipment. I like this picture because I like how it's the old picture of the dozers and how they are so different from each other and very different from what we see today. But I do like this picture of these old pieces of equipment. So this is a Marion Railroad steam shovel, model 75. It was purchased in 1946, and it was located at the Bitco mine, Springfield Township, Mahoning County, which would have been right up in this area up here. Since this was a steam engine, they had to produce coal to be able to use the shovel. So, and they also had to take the tracks. This was on rail, so they had to keep taking the tracks, laying it in front of it. As the shovel would move, they had to keep building track as they went. So, and another interesting point about this piece of equipment, there were a fleet of these that helped to build the Panama Canal. So obviously they were a very important piece of equipment of their time. We move on to the 7400 Marion. This is an electric drag line, 160-foot boom, 30-yard bucket. It was purchased from Marshall Mining in 1964. Marshall Mining bought this in 1950. It worked in the Springfield Township before East Fairfield purchased it, but this is the Marion, and then East Fairfield would later, I believe they had to lay cables for it prior, right, whenever they would run it. So then East Fairfield will later add a diesel generator to produce the electric to be able to power this drag line. These are some of the men who worked on the Marion. So this is Gib Maple and Hap Hoffman. Rob Whitman sitting at the seat of the dragline. And this group of men here, and maybe somebody will know who someone is here. I do not have all of their names. I am missing a couple, but maybe somebody can tell me who they are. So we have John Woodburn, Cletus Randolph, Tom Maple, Gib is back to us. I believe Larry Stonework, John Eaton, Hap Hoffman, and Shorty Holzer. So if anybody knows who those other two gentlemen are, or if you want to correct me on the ones I have, please let me know. So the Marion on the move. In the 1970s, the 7400 was moved cross-country from what was our S mine to our K mine. It goes across Baird Road and Unity Road to our K mine. I'm really hoping somebody will tell me who this gentleman is right here. Does anybody know that who wore that shirt? Because that would be really interesting to know. But so this was a big deal at the time because you had to, you cover the road with dirt, straw, wood. You cover it to protect the road, and then it's not every day you see a 650-ton piece of equipment go across the road in front of you. So this was a big deal. It still is. I mean, I think when we moved 1 year later in Gavers, it was still a big deal. So this picture is kind of personal for me, I know, so I'm probably going to get called on it, so I'll just say it from the beginning. East Fairfield did not have a D10 because I got called on that already by a couple people. So, but this is whenever Tom and Mike Dudig go somewhere to look at a piece of equipment. So this picture is important to me because in 1978, when I started to work at the East Fairfield Coal Company, my first day was Tom took me to the Marion, and the oiler helped me get on the drag line. I walked around the drag line, and then I got to get in a dozer with Mr. Dudig and drive a dozer. So that was my first day at East Fairfield. So this picture is really kind of special to me. All right, so the East Fairfield Coal Company sponsored plat books for Mahoning and Columbiana County for a number of years. These are a couple of these examples. I bring this up because, and over there that's 1974. I brought that one because, and so you feel free to look at that later, but I thought there would be places, names you may know, people that you can kind of, maybe it's your name, maybe it's your grandparents' name. So this is section 17 and 18, which would be up here. So if we look at this, you've got, at the top, you've got Middletown Road. This is Springfield Road, South Range, Baird over here. So this would have been our S mine. The old S mine was, and if I don't say these names right, I apologize, but the S mine, old one was named after Schmitty, and the new one was named after Springfield. So we go from that section 1817, you can see the mining up there in the 1950s, 1965, but I think we go back to this section again later. So we're in these two sections, and I believe Marshall Mining was up in that area as well. This is a picture of the S mine, which was off Middletown Road. This is section 15, 16, and 22, so that brings us more down into this area. This is going to be, that's Unity Road, South Range Road. So we had the K mine, which would have been up in this area. That was named after Kenny Smith. We had the R mine down this area. That was named for Ricketts. And then this one over here was the C mine, and that was Chizeka. So this would be a picture of the K and R mine off of Unity Road, Springfield Township, just to kind of give you an idea what the mine looked like. So the K mine and wash plant tour. Back in the early 80s, we built the wash plant in North Lima, and so they did a tour, and so I'll bring him up right now. So Kenny Smith guided a tour for the wash plant, and then we got on tour buses and we went to the K mine, and you got to see the equipment, some of the operations at the mine at that time. All right, so I hope through this whole process that you see some people you knew or you know. And I'm going to apologize for this video in advance because I got it off of a VHS tape, and you can only get as good as you can get off of a VHS tape. But I hope that you see someone you know in this video.
Home Earth Day approaches. A local mining company is trying to show it is a friend of the environment. 21's Dick Skelton reports.
East Fairfield Coal Co operates this strip mine on Route 617 in southern Mahoning County. As its observation of Earth Day, the company today invited several schools to tour this big mine.
Since 1990.
Because of Earth Day and some requests from some teachers, we decided to just try to organize and invite a number of the area schools and let them see a little bit about geology, a little bit about mining, and what we have accomplished since the first Earth Day.
8th graders at Columbiana schools were among the youngsters who boarded a hay wagon for a bumpy ride around the big 80-foot deep pit.
If you was to eat your home with that coal, probably last between 4 and 5 years. The way this goes.
Ken Smith, in charge of East Fairfield's land reclamation, went along to explain what they were seeing and answer questions.
How long will it take before all this land's gone once you dig everything up?
Our idea is to put it back as natural as we can. So we're really not losing ground. There's a sign back there. We're taking out yesterday's fossils and stuff for today's energy and still putting it back for tomorrow's use.
After coal is taken from each pit, huge scrapers put the rock and soil back. Grass is sowed, and in most cases, trees are planted.
We're responsible for the ground 5 years after we leave. Maintain this, or to make sure that it maintains and stays, and we do have a good crop and the ground is stable.
Part of the reason East Fairfield arranged these tours is to help change the image of strip mining, from a despoiler of the earth to a friend of ecology.
I thought just like guys that couldn't make it through college working here, and they just learned how to do this stuff, and they just destroyed the earth just to get some coal and stuff.
You don't think that now?
No, it makes me think that the nature and everything's going to be more preserved.
The company says that 2 years after it leaves, farmers can again plant crops here. Dick Skelton, 21 Action News.
Coal, a different kind of classroom setting. Junior high students from across southern Mahoning County went down to the mines today, to the East Fairfield Coal Company Petersburg mine. The company had invited the students to tour the site to feel the coal and clay samples. They learned a little bit about geology, mining, and during this Earth Week, how to reclaim the land. The company said that they do this every year. The students said they were amazed. In the 8th grade, that's awesome.
Anybody see anybody they knew?
What year was that last one?
They were both 1990. It was Earth Day of 1990.
Okay, that mine behind the house.
Is that right?
Yeah, Waterford Road, if you went straight across, you went right into it.
Okay.
Off of 617,
Okay. So anybody know Kenny Smith? Does anybody remember him?
I do.
oh yeah.
I figured. So they call him Hoot, I think is what his nickname was. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to have that one in there. All right, so we move on to the P&H. It's 2355 diesel dragline. It has 180-foot boom, 16 cubic yard bucket. That's 24 tons of rock per bucket. It's powered by a 12-cylinder diesel engine. It was purchased in 1985. It is later sold in 1996 to help invest into the Petersburg limestone mine. So this is a little bit up close picture. I like that picture. And then we'll have to do a little shout out for Harold Powell. He was an oiler on that drag line. This is the HP, so the P&H drag line was at the HP mine, which was always a little bit confusing. But this is across the road from, it's on Garfield Road, it's across the road from our sub-mine limestone entrance. So we surface mined all of this, and then later we will come in and we will underground, we'll mine underneath this piece of property. So that is what the working pit there looked like. This is Garfield Road in the background. So these fossilized trees were found in the HP mine. back in 1991. They were fossilized trunks of two ancient trees. They were discovered when a shot was set off. So when they set off the shot, you know, the high wall falls away and these trees were left standing there. So they are approximately 4 foot high. They weigh approximately 3,000 pounds and they are considered to be over 300 million years old.
Wow.
So usually in the mining process, these trees will have been lost, but by the way that the high wall fell, they were able to find them and we preserved them. So this is what one would look like. This is it in the mine. There's a geologist standing there next to it. This is Dave Conrad. He's helping to load them out of there. This was quite the find. In the geological world, this was quite the find. So this is our head geologist, Tim Miller, although Tim's not real tall, but that kind of gives you an idea of how tall that tree still is. And one of these trees is, they're both taken to our garage in North Lima. One of them is donated to Oh Wow Science Center in Youngstown. As far as I know, it's still there. It was there the last time I was there, so as far as I know, it's still there. The other one is in our garage, our annex. It's our geology building. It is currently still there. So Mahoning Energy. Mahoning Energy is our trucking division. I worked very closely with this group of men, so this is near and dear to my heart. Mahoning Energy owner-operators had many drivers into Springfield Township over the years. So somebody may recognize this truck. Half cab, right? All right, so that was quite the beast. Would have been one of the trucks that would have backed up the tipple and put coal into our tipple. So Eden Farms would be Ed Wilson, Dan Schaefer from Springfield Township. So this is a picture. This is Ed Wilson and Glacier Hills, Ray Wary. And then for anyone who knows this man, I could not leave him out. So Bob Bryant, Ridge Runner, he was Bryant Trucking. So we had a number of people throughout Springfield Township. We had a number of drivers and owner-operators. So for over 35 years, Mahoning Energy, our trucking division, hauled coal, clay, limestone for the East Fairfield Coal Company. They were an intrastate and an interstate for-hire carrier from 1982 until 2018. So at this point in our company's history, so we are kind of exhausted our reserves in Springfield Township, so we are still looking for coal at this time. So we end up in Southern Columbiana County, we end up in Jefferson and Carroll County, where we learn how to be underground coal miners. But still at this time, we still employ people from this area, plus Mahoning Energy is still hauling our product, so we still have drivers from this area who are still working with and for us at this time. Okay, so this is whenever we then become the East Fairfield Coal Limestone Division. In 1996, we just become more diversified and we start to mine limestone. This would be our first one. This was an open pit operation in Petersburg. The entrance was originally off of Garfield Road. This would be the entrance coming in. It is later then moved to Route 170. So this is a picture of the working mine at Petersburg. This is the picture of the mine with the plant in the forefront. So we learned a lot from mining coal underground. So we bring that knowledge back up to our limestone mine. When you are mining, when you have a lot of overburden, it becomes very expensive for you to be able to surface mine and remove all of that, and you have to put it all back. So whenever you surface mine, you just do a mine down, a surface area down to the product, and you go straight into the wall. So Petersburg limestone will go underground in 2000. Now at this point, I want to step aside and I want to introduce Brian Stauffer, so he can kind of start to explain to you a little bit about more of the mining process that they bring it a little more up to date.
How's everybody?
Good.
My name is Brian Stauffer. For people that don't know me, I started with East Fairfield in 2008. Started over at our Petersburg mine. I was over there for about a month, and then I got shipped over to Subtropolis, and I worked over there until 2021 when they asked me to go to the office. So now I get to take care of the leasing, I get the community relations, and I still go to all of our mines every day just to make sure if anybody needs anything. There was a time that I wondered if my phone would ring for people to call me that needed stuff for work, but now it rings all day, every day. So I just want to go over what our guys actually do underground. This is over at Petersburg. These are the portals. So this mine, you have 4 portals. You got a primary, a secondary. That's where you can go in and get out for your escapeways, or you can enter. You're going to have a belt line and your return air. So this is a picture of a mine map. So this one has 3. You got your green is your entry. This is your primary. Your blue is your secondary. At your crusher, your primary and secondary, where they meet, where your primary meets your crusher, it now becomes your secondary. You can go in and out of this. You can get in and out of the blue one. There's going to be stoppings in between so the air can go in the primary, go to the belt line, and the air can come out. So you always got clean air going in, dirty air coming out. These are all pillars, so they're 30 by 50 pillars. Anything that is black has already been mined. Anything that's blue, it still needs to be mined. On any of our maps, they're all the same. You got cross cuts, you got 30-foot cross cuts. All your faces or headings, they're 40-foot wide, and I'll just say they're 20-foot tall. So anything that we have as far as loaders, dozers, trucks, you can drive them right in there. You can stay in the cab. Most of the stuff, the guys stay in. So the underground portals, that'll be our primary. And we got a secondary. There's our belt line. That'll be the 3rd portal. And then there's a fan in the other one. So that's either sucking the air in or it's exhausting the air, one way or the other. So this is a picture I took when I was underground about a week ago. This is just an entry, 40-foot wide. I'm going into the mine. This is our primary. On the side, you can see these reflective tags. So on any time you're in a primary or a secondary, you're going to have reflective tags. If you're going in the mine, they're going to be on your left side, and they're going to be white and green for your primary. If you're coming out of the mine, they're going to be on your right, and they're going to be solid. So if you're in the mine, you're thinking, oh, I don't know where I'm at. If it's on your right and it's solid, you go out. When you come to 2 tags, that means you got to turn. And there's arrows and everything down there, so I know people think, I've taken people down there like, oh my, I'd get lost in no time. But it really doesn't take that long before you know exactly where you're at every day. So we go to the shot crew. So the first thing we do, when we extract everything, we have to shoot it and make it smaller. So the shot crew, there's 52 holes in a face. They take a stick of dynamite, they take a cap, and they put them in the hole, every single hole, and then in these pods, which is an ANFO rig, it's diesel fuel and it's fertilizer. When you put them all in the holes, you got deck cord that runs around there, and these clips on the deck cord, and the deck cord is the first thing to go, and it burns at 21,000 feet a second. So it's really fast, and when it goes off, it's really, really loud. So they got the basket, you got 52 holes, 2 guys are on the shot crew, half of them load the bottom hole, 1 guy loads the bottom holes, the other guy gets in the basket, he loads the top holes. Now, these are the 52 holes that we have. And when you drill, these will be different delayed than these. Every hole's delayed, but when that drill bit goes in there, we have a V pattern. So these ones are going to go off first. This whole center is going to come out, and that relieves it. So most of the energy is coming from that V pattern. And I got another one that kind of, so this is what the face looks like if you're in the drill and you're looking at it. These are the holes they're going to drill into. So if it says 100, those are going to be the first 100. They go off. Then your 200s, and they're all delays. These 100 delay, 200 delay, 300, 400, up to 1,000. So all the faces go off. We have 9 faces that go off in a day. They all go off within like a second, but they are all delayed. So nothing other than 6 or 8 holes go off at the same exact time. If we had 1,000 holes go off at the same time, they would really know it. And I know people that live around here, you've all probably felt a blast, or 2, or a whole bunch. So this is what it looks like for the face. Now this is a little video. I might cut it short. I might let you watch the whole thing. But this is just at some of our portals, and this is going to show what it looks like when a shot goes off. And this is only like, some of them are only like 8, 10 of them. In every face you got 52 holes. So the first thing you guys saw was the det cord going off, and the second thing you guys saw going off would have been the dynamite and the info. So there was one misfire in that shot. So here's the misfire. This is the tube. They'll wash that out and they'll pull that out and they'll use it again. So after you shoot it, you got to get it out of there. So we have wheel loaders. They go to the face, they bring it out, and they put it into a crusher. When they put it on the crusher, everything from underground gets belted outside. So it either goes directly to the plant, or it goes in a surge pile that we could build a surge pile over the winter. Because our plants, most of them, the one up here at Honey Creek, you can run all year. But when we wash the stone, when it freezes, you can't wash it anymore. So we make a surge pile, do maintenance on the plants. So our underground crusher. These are 2 pictures of the crushers. Loader comes in, he dumps it over here, the tray takes it in, there's a big drum. That goes around and around fast as you could think. It takes about 10 minutes. So when you shut this off, it takes about 10 minutes for this drum to quit running. Lock it out, you go in there and you torque the elements every day to make sure they're all torqued and everything's safe. Anything that'll fit in this opening, which is probably about 5 to 6 feet wide and 5 to 6 feet tall, anything that'll fit in that, the crusher will eat it. And it'll take everything from about 15 inches to dust. This is a scaler. After they muck it out and they get all the stone out of the face, the scaler comes in. It's got a hook on the end. We now do have 2 versions of this. It's got a little wheel on the front that spins. But what the scalers do, they come in and they get any of the loose material off the back. They get it off of the face and they get it off the ribs. So when anything goes in there, whether you're walking, whether you're working, whether you're driving in there to check on stuff, it's safe for everybody. Nothing can fall and hurt anybody. So the scalers come in after the loaders are done. After the loaders are done, we got to bolt. We got to bolt everything. So we put 5 bolts every 8 feet. So the bolter comes in, drills 5 holes in the roof with the drill. And he'll take the boom, he'll bring it over to the side, he'll get out of the cab, he'll get in this basket. And then he'll run bolts with plates on there. About 6 inches by 6 inch plates, 5-foot bolts. You got resin. Basically, it's just like a grout. You put the resin in the hole, you put the bolt up in there, it spins it, makes it tight. That's what holds it helps hold the roof up. After the boulder's done, you got a guy that comes out and cleans and lays everything out. So when it's shot, you got rock piled up everywhere, kind of like here. The whole entire face, it's up to the roof. Once everything's done, this guy comes in, he makes it look real nice. Gets everything cleaned up. Over here, this is what he does when he lays it out. So he lays this out, and there's going to be 52 holes on this face. He paints them orange, and that's where the driller needs to drill. I really enjoyed doing this. It's nice because you got to get everything really, really clean at the bottom. If you don't get it clean, when the driller comes to come in and drill, he goes to drill at the bottom, and now his drill steel gets stuck. So, really important job. All of them are important, but I really enjoyed to do this. Once the guy cleans and lays it out, we got a double boom drill. There's about 40 to 50 levers inside of this cab. And there's two booms, and you get the first one going, and then while it's drilling, you get the second one going. But I did this probably more than anything underground, and I tell you what, if you take care of your machine, it makes it so much easier. There's so many lines on this and so many moving parts. If you don't neglect your equipment and you run it really good and you take care of it, it'll take care of you. But I really, really enjoyed drilling. There's another picture of just the double boom from the side. So he's actually doing a right-hand turn in both of these. You can see there was already one shot taken out. It's kind of recessed back in there. A couple pieces of equipment that we also use. So underground water truck, it's not the best picture, but we use the water truck for basically dust suppression on the roads. And then we also water all of our faces after we blast, big pow, before we put it into the crusher. Water it, keep all the dust down. Here's a picture of one of the fans. We have diesel fans and we also have electric fans, but these will be in the primaries or secondaries, escapeways, and they'll also be in the belt line, either bringing fresh air in or they'll be sucking the bad air out. This is a picture of our elephant stone. So this is a wheel loader, real short. This bucket, it'll hold about twice as much of the 980 as you saw in the other picture that was loading the crusher. I tell you what, when these things are running, you can really tell the stone really, really comes out. These are really enjoyed running this piece of equipment too, but this bucket will hold about 2 of our 988 buckets. A picture of the Petersburg plant. This one would have been right down the road here, right on 170 in Garfield. You can get on the side entrance. You got the scale house. Our shop was just being built then. It's all the piles of stone. Here's a little bit closer up picture of it. Subtropolis mine. It's on Garfield right down here. It's 5455 East Garfield Road. 2006 is when we went underground at Subtropolis. So we got the entrance, the bottom entrance off of Garfield. Big loop for, I'm sure Ed's been around there 100 million times. Come off the scale and you go out the top entrance. Surge POW, and here's the portals where you go in. I believe I do have a picture of the portals.
Somebody want to point that out, Brian? The name of it.
This. What's that?
So to go on East Fairfield Limestone Division to East Fairfield Student. Do you want me to just say it? Yeah. Okay. So if you'll notice throughout the slides, we put them in there where it was East Fairfield Coal Limestone Division, and the signs you see today will say the East Fairfield Stone Company. And no matter, the name has changed a little bit, but we are always still the same company. You still have the EF, so we just want to point out that even though it may look a little different, we are still the same company. Sorry, go ahead.
You're good. These are the portals. This is 4. We had 4 at Petersburg. For its sub, we have 3 at Honey Creek. So you'd have your primary, your secondary. There's two 12-foot fans in here, so it's sucking the air in from the outside too, and it's pulling them out in the middle. This is our belt line that goes up to our surge pile. There's a picture of our sub plant. We got our scalper that takes all the dry products, so it's your Gabion, your 1s, 2s, 304s, 617s. We've got our crusher station, our wet screens, and then our dry screens, excuse me, and our wet screens are up here. And that's what the final product with your 57s, your 8s, your sand, and your 9s. Our Honey Creek mine, we surfaced mine in 2017. Then we went underground in 2019. So this is a picture of when we were stripping up there. This is State Route 170 here. So this is a picture, same exact picture as before. This is 170. This is what it looked like when we were stripping there.
I think that's before we got there.
That's before we got there?
Yeah, it's 2010.
That's 2010. I'll see if I hit that. She's doing this whole thing next time. And this picture is 25, so you can see it was stripped. Now most of it's reclaimed. We are still using it. This is our plant site here, and right here is where we go underground. These are our portals. So while it was being stripped, and we're deep mine, so all that could have been reclaimed. So I mean, I think it looks really good. That's what it looked like. That's what it looks like now. That's a picture of the plant, the Honey Creek plant. It's a portable plant, so nothing gets washed here. Just Gabion 1s, 304s, 617s. It's all dry product. And what I mean by a portable plant is basically if you move all these stackers out of the way, Ed could back up to that with his truck. He could just take it right to the next site tomorrow. So this is a picture of the Tiger Mine. This is all 165. We're just starting it right now. And that is 14571 State Route 165 or Woodworth Road. So you can see, I believe this is Ed Wilson and Son Trucking up here. We're going to strip here for a couple of years, and then we will have portals and we will go underground within the next 2 to 3 years. That's all I had. Now it's Barb's turn again. Thank you.
All right, so we just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about some of the other interests or other projects that East Fairfield is, the company is involved in. So Patriot Cement, Firestone Farms, Henry Beers, and the Shenango Mine. So Patriot Cement Products, this is an overview. They are in North Lima. This is across the street from our main office. This is our shop and the plant. So this is just kind of an overview. This will be the turnpike right here. Woodworth Road would be right here. So in 2004, so back it up a little bit, we had a lot of 9s and we were looking for a way to be able to use up our product. And where we were making our product, we had a lot of 9s. So we partnered with a company that makes the gray cement block, and so we opened up a plant here in North Lima. So in 2004, Patriot started to make the gray block in North Lima. This is a picture of the block. It shows you the skid loader putting it onto the trucks, and then it's hauled out of there. So the block is made for residential, industrial, and commercial needs. The next one is Firestone Farms, and this one is probably more known than some of the other ones are. So in 2012, the company purchases the Firestone Farms. This is an overview of, I think this is a pretty current picture of what it looks like now. So Firestone Farms has been developed as a mixed community, and it reflects Harvey S. Firestone's achievements and his connection to Columbiana. So this would be right at the middle of town center. This is the barn. So with its welcoming atmosphere, historic charm, and a variety of local businesses, Firestone serves as a hub for families, friends, and neighbors to gather. So they have a number of, if you've ever been out there, where they have their concert series and movies in the summer, and they have events all year long out there. Henry Beer Supply Company. This is an overview of their current lot, which we rebuilt. All of this building here was brand new. So in 2020, we bought the Henry Beers Company in Talmadge. This was another venue for us to be able to sell our cement block here as well. So we supply commercial contractors, there's residential builders, homeowners with quality building materials. This would be a hardscape display that is in Talmadge. So if you were to go there and you told them you wanted to put something in your backyard, they can help you design how to come up with some great ideas for your own yard. So, Shenago Mine, this is an overview of the Shenago Mine. It is near Newcastle. It is our newest underground limestone mine. This is a picture, Brian just took this for me. This is a very current picture of the plant. And so we are currently supplying commercial customers at this location with quality limestone. So those are some other things outside of Springfield Township. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it, but just want to kind of bring it to attention that those are other things that the company is involved in. So questions, and Brian and I will both be here, as well as there's a couple other people here who probably can answer some of these questions better than I can. So does anybody have any questions? Comments?
You
Yes,
got
ma'am.
a picture of them people you wanted to know who they were, or just on that thing there?
Do I have a back at the office? There's a picture.
No, you were just asking if anybody knew them people up there. I couldn't make them out.
Oh,
You know, they might have been somebody from Timbuktu.
it asked me very well. Probably is. Yes, ma'am.
When he was talking about drilling to put the dynamite, how deep are those holes?
So those holes, the 100 holes, they go 16 feet in. So we want to advance 13 feet every time we shoot. The 100 holes, they're 16 feet. And then the outside perimeters, they'll be drilled at like 14 feet. So we blast, and by the time we're done scaling and everything, advance 13 to 14 feet. Go ahead, bud.
How long has East Fairfield Co been like?
1934, I believe. Am I right, Barb?
Yes, sir, you are.
Let's see, 1934. I know, she taught me that. Yes, sir.
We have a supply of limestone.
So at our Subtropolis mine, right down the road here, I would say with what we have leased right now, we probably have somewhere around 7 years, 7 to 8 years left right here at Sub. We got about a year left up here in Honey Creek, up here on 170. So that's what we have right now.
And then that one over in North Lima will pretty much take over Honey Creek.
Well,
I mean,
once we start, we probably have a little bit, I'll say right around 10 years there. If we could get a couple things that go our way, easily 30 to 40 years there.
I drive a truck and I see some of the projects going on, and I think all the stone and concrete that's been put in it.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
It's crazy. And at some point, they'll have to figure out what they're going to do without limestone. Because at some point, it'll all be gone. It's a long way from now, but other questions?
Did you tell them what the average thickness of the limestone is?
Bob was just drilling, and is it like 23 to 25 that you guys have been hitting?
Yeah,
23 to 25 foot is how thick the limestone is right in this general vicinity. Yes, sir.
What do you do with the void that just created for the underground?
After we're done, so after we're done down there, they stay like that. Now, what we have been doing lately is, when you wash the product, you have a wash line, I'll call it. So anything that comes off it that's a real fine mesh. We've been pumping that back underground, so we'll dam areas up, we'll pump it underground, and I tell you what, that stuff, after it sits for a while, it ends up, I wouldn't recommend it, but you could drive over it. I mean, it's really, a tough compound. So we're filling the mine up with as much of that as we can.
Do you have any plans of doing something like you had over in Wumble?
As far as a storage company, well, our Shenango is called Shenango Limestone and Storage Company. At some point, that could be a possibility.
I'm sure tractor trailers in there.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
It is, I've enjoyed it. There's some people that don't like to go underground, but I really enjoy it. About 56 degrees year round down there. Doesn't rain, doesn't snow, and it's dark.
On the Honey Creek mine, is it true that originally, years ago, that was strip mine, the coal was strip mine above the Honey Creek mine?
It was. East Fairfield stripped it.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
4,500 up on top of the hill.
With which?
Pardon?
On what name strip?
Up on top of the hill where the churches were. Well, where the entrance coming in, that was all stripped for the 4,500.
4,500 strip back.
Oh, okay.
And that drag line went to Ellsworth.
Georgetown.
Pardon?
Georgetown.
Okay.
Ellsworth was where the tipple was. They
Yeah.
processed the coal. It was southwestern Columbia County.
So we have some maps up here for you to look at, and I would be glad to go back through any of this. One thing I wanted to point out on this Honey Creek one, so this is, before we start here on Honey Creek, let me make it bigger. Maybe. So this is before East Fairfield is in here, so this is what we inherit when we get the Honey Creek mine. So you can see over here, we've got a lot of high wall, there's a lot of dangerous areas. So what we want to do, so what's kind of important to point out here is that now this is no longer a hazardous area. I mean, you have a lake that can be used, it's no longer these dangerous high walls. So we've tried to make, in reclaiming that land, we've tried to put it back into better shape of what it was than when we found it. So just wanted to kind of point that out. But feel free to come up and look at anything or ask us questions. Yes, sir?
Now, you say you have a lake there. Is there any tunnels up there where you guys did deep mining underneath that lake?
No, we didn't mine underneath that. We never
I
will.
mean, after you're done, you get out of there and you got a lake there. Is that tunnel still underneath that lake?
We didn't mine underneath that lake, and we will not.
We just reclaimed the surface.
Correct.
It was surface mine.
Yeah, it was surface mine, but we will not mine underneath that lake, no. We'll only
After
go.
you're done, did you just create a lake?
No.
After you cleaned up?
No, I mean, that was already there.
Yeah, that was there.
That was what was there. We just cleaned it up so that to make it into.
Okay, now when you move out, you still have those tunnels underground, right?
Yeah, but not under
So-
that.
But you still have those tunnels underground
Yes.
when you move out.
Mhm.
And how long will those tunnels stay stationary without caving in?
Well, I know if you go over to Brady's Bend, that mine over 100 years old, and they don't even have pillars somewhere. Like we could all go down in there and play baseball. Everything's still standing.
But was that ground caved in up on St. Leonard?
There has been, yes.
That's why there's a dip in the road up there. Is that caved in anymore?
Will it cave in anymore?
Will it cave in anymore?
We dumped a bunch of stuff underground up there. We did everything that we could possibly do to make sure it does not again. I can't tell you that it will never happen again.
Okay, now, after you're gone, if somebody buys that land and develops it, could it be caved in then?
if they buy it to develop it,
Yeah, or they will do it.
anywhere there's a void, at some point it could subside.
There's underground mines from years ago, cause I worked for a company, I delivered to a farmhouse, literally fell into the ground.
Yeah.
And that mine was, who knows how old that mine was, I didn't know it was there. I mean, they had filled stuff, but.
Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead.